At this stage, I'm very pleased to welcome Subramanian Sarma, Managing Director and CEO at L&T Hydrocarbon Engineering. Sir, thank you very much for joining us on NDTV today. The L&T Hydrocarbon Engineering led consortium has backed a very significant $1.6 billion order from Saudi Aramco. Before we specifically talk about L&T Hydrocarbon's share of that contract, can you give us an overview of the contract?
Yeah, I mean, this is a significant award for us from Saudi Arabia for our major client, Saudi Aramco. About a year ago, we had signed a long-term agreement for 6 years along with our partner IMAS from Singapore for providing services for offshore services, basically. It was 6 years and further extended by 6 years. Under that long-term agreement, we bid for several contracts, tenders. Against international competition, we have competition from Americans and Italians. And I think this was one of the tenders we had bid under that agreement, and we have been successful. So this is almost a 3.5 years contract, may run up to about 42 months, 1.6 billion. And as you've seen in the press release, our share of the contract will be about 60%, a little over $1 billion.
Okay, a little over $1 billion. So, I had picked up the number of 96 million there. So I just wanted to understand, what the visibility is looking like here on in terms of the hydrocarbon sector. Would it be fair to say that there are revival signs visible?
Well, I think the oil prices have kind of has stabilized around $50 a barrel. I mean, people, as I had spoken earlier to media, I think when the prices were coming down, people were not very sure at what level it will bottom out. I think definitely there are signs now. I think people feel there is a lot of consensus in the industry that the oil prices will be in the range of 40 to 60, maybe it will even out around $50 a barrel. So once the floor is established, then people are definitely re-looking at their investment profile and doing their IRR investment evaluations in that range, and I think the capital will start flowing back. But regardless of the oil prices in the Middle East, the gas development projects were never had slowed down really. I mean, there was some slowdown, but not much, because there is a significant shortage of power in the sector, and the gas development projects feed into power development. So I think we are operating in the space where we have more gas development projects. So we continue to have a reasonable pipeline of bidding opportunities for us. And I think over a period of time, maybe 12 to 18 months from time, we will start seeing capital coming back into the oil sector as well.
Okay, so you've set me off in a couple of different directions. I just wanted to get a sense on just how much your order book tends towards gas development projects. Just to give our viewers an indication of, you said a large share is from gas development projects. And secondly, can you give us also some indications of where the orders are building up?
Okay. I think for hydrocarbon business in L&T, I mean, we are present in the Indian market, domestic, what we call domestic market, and international. The split between domestic and international until about a few months ago was almost 50-50. Now with this large contract award, it is skewing more towards international, predominantly Middle East. And so I would say it will be about 60-65% now of our portfolio. And in that 60-65%, 70% of our projects are more gas development related projects. So I think that's the kind of how the pie breaks down. And what was the second question you asked me? I mean,
sir, the geographical profile from where you're likely to get more gas development projects.
Okay, I think currently we are still consolidating our position in the Middle East, because we had entered Middle East a few years ago. We have gone through a learning curve, so we want to consolidate our position. So we'll be still predominantly most of our international prospects will come from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Oman and maybe even UAE, these countries. But we have a plan to slowly expand into new geographies, maybe North Africa and also some of the Caspian countries as the capital starts flowing back. But at this point in time, it is mostly from Middle East and GCC countries.
Fair enough. You've given me a sense of the hydrocarbon business. Can you also give me some context on the growing significance of the hydrocarbons business within L&T to the total order picture, sir, if I could steer you towards that direction?
Well, I think you have seen, last year we announced, very recently we announced our financial results for the year 15-16, and the share of hydrocarbon overall in the L&T's portfolio was about 12% in terms of revenue. And I think our intention now with the way the business is being now directed, and we are doing a lot of things to strengthen our execution platform, and we have aspirations to grow this further. So I would expect that within next 5 years we would increase the share of the pie from maybe 13% to maybe close to 20%. But I have to remind you that L&T as a group also is growing in the next 5 years. So to maintain that growth, percentage by itself is a big contribution, but we are trying to increase the share to maybe 17% or so.
Sure. What about the margins and the outlook? Currently, how do margins look within the sector, and what is the outlook going forward? And if you could detail some of the pressure points, if any, that you foresee on margins.
Well, margins is quite dependent on in the geography we operate and the competition we have, and I think all that I can say is that the margins on the projects we have won recently and we will continue to win in the future will be very much in the normal industry standards. We are very disciplined. We want to not just grow the top line. Our focus is on profitable growth, and we want to grow the bottom line. So we have a very rigorous process of risk assessment, cost assessment, and we want to make sure that the adequate provisions are made and cost is properly captured to execute this job well. And I think with the strengthening of the execution platform, we will have a reasonable profit which is in the as per the industry norm. I think we are talking about maybe in the single digits, high single digits.
Okay. What about on-time execution, sir? Again, we don't get this opportunity often to talk to you, which is why I wanted to capitalize it, given as this opportunity presents itself with a significant order win for L&T Hydrocarbon. So what are the sort of on-time execution challenges? What has been L&T Hydrocarbon sort of track record on that front? Are there any operational efficiencies that you will now be building into future contracts?
Well, I think, as I said, L&T stepped out into international market in a big way about 5-6 years ago. We picked up some contracts. But of course, as you step out into a new country, there are always challenges to overcome, and you go through a learning curve. We have gone through that. I think we have learned our lessons. I bring a lot of personally over 25 years of international experience. I have been operating in this country, so I bring my own expertise and knowledge in that. And we have, as an organization, we have learned. So I think we have put together all these things, learnings into action. We have streamlined, we have restructured, and we have undertaken several operational excellence initiatives. So with our combination of all these things and having a very disciplined approach to bidding, I expect that our performance in the coming quarters and coming years is going to be much superior, and is going to meet the expectation of our customers and shareholders.
Indeed. Sir, I just wanted to also reflect a little bit on what the domestic market for L&T Hydrocarbons is looking like. So far, our conversation has been focused on the international piece, but give us some flavor of what to expect in the months ahead when it comes to domestic customers.
Well, domestic market is also quite promising, but the reason why we stepped out of domestic market is to no service provider can be overly dependent on one single market. You need some diversity, and that's what we have done. But we are very committed to domestic market. I believe we are well positioned as a contractor to win a large share of the domestic projects. Coming specifically to hydrocarbon sector, there has been a little bit of slowdown in over the last 2-3 years. It's been disappointing for us, but we see that the capital is coming back. Let me talk about offshore. ONGC is now embarking on several projects, and what is a silver lining for us is the revision in the gas pricing policy recently announced by Government of India. There is a lot of more now interest in the deep water development, particularly in the Krishna Godavari basin. So we expect that there will be a multi-billion-dollar investment coming from ONGC in the next 18 months or so, and we are looking forward to that opportunity. That's on the offshore, and then it comes to refinery sector. Definitely, with the oil prices at the levels they are, it's a boom for refineries. So there will be more expansion coming in the refineries, as well as government has announced the Euro 6 compliance, Bharat 6. So there will be upgradation of refineries to improve the quality of gasoline. So that we are talking about maybe 20 to 30,000 crores of capital coming into the refineries. And then there is also a lot of talk about fertilizers. There is a huge supply gap, demand gap in urea and the fertilizer sector. Currently, the country is importing a lot, and the government, new government, is now extremely keen to add that capacity. Today, I had a discussion with the Secretary of Fertilizers, and he reiterated their commitment. So I think there will be 6 or 7 fertilizer plants coming up in the next few years. So overall, yes, I think there's a bidding slate looks good. But what is not very certain, we are not very certain about, is the pace at which this will happen. So we'll have to wait and see how it pans out.
Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. But before I do so, I'm going to urge you to honestly address one question. The revival chapter at L&T Hydrocarbons has been a work in progress. And, you made that commitment, if my memory serves me right, in January 2016, that it'll take about 18 months to really make sure that this segment is sort of firing all cylinders. Is there any challenge you anticipate, sir, in the months ahead?
Well, I mean, there are always challenges. When you're turning around the business, it would be wrong on me to say that there are no challenges. But I think the good thing is we know the challenges, and I believe that we have, as a L&T Hydrocarbon and L&T as a group, we have a lot of horsepower within the group to deal with those challenges, and we are dealing with those. So I still maintain my January commitment that in 18 months' time we will have a much better performance from hydrocarbon, and some of this green shoots or signs you are already seeing. I mean, acquiring this large contract is a part of that process. So I'm very optimistic still.
Well, we look forward to you, sir, to talking with you, sir, more frequently as this revival story gains further ground. Mr. Sarma, thank you very much for joining us on NDTV today. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.